What I'm about to do is illegal. That right there. Not necessarily just cutting the branch, but if I were to actually stick this in some soil and propagate it and sell it, I'd get in a lot of trouble. You see, these two plants, along with most other plants that you find in a garden center or nursery, are patent protected. And that's why whenever you look at the tags of these plants, you will see that it'll say something like propagation of these plants is strictly prohibited. And I know that makes a lot of people angry. Like, how can you patent a plant? I mean, who are you to tell me that I can't do something with a plant? Here's the thing though, if we were to stop patenting plants or allowing them to be patented, innovation and new varieties of plants would stop almost overnight. First, let me explain what it takes to actually qualify for a plant to be patented. If you want to patent a new variety of plant, you must be able to prove that you have either invented or discovered a unique variety and that you can asexually reproduce it. Asexual reproduction means that you can reproduce it without using seeds. So, something like taking a cutting. Now, what about that part where it says invented? How do you invent a plant? Now, this is where it gets interesting. There are people that are plant breeders that are constantly trying to come up with new and unique varieties of plants. Plant breeders primarily come up with new varieties of plants by doing hybridization or crossbreeding. This breeding process usually happens when you take parent plants of two different types of plants and then cross them to try to get favorable outcomes of the next generation. With tomato hybridization, for example, maybe you've got a tomato plant that is a good, strong producer, but doesn't have the greatest flavor. You've got another plant that has very flavorful fruit, but doesn't produce a lot. You cross them together by cross-pollinating, and you study the offspring. Some of those offspring may end up being plants that are going to be high production and good flavor. That would be a win for that plant breeder. That same process happens for shrubs. Maybe they are looking for something that has a unique color or something that has a unique growth habit. Like instead of growing 8 feet tall, this one only gets 5 feet tall, which makes it more desirable in a landscape. And this is a huge amount of work. It involves tons of time and resources, including financial resources, to carry out these experiments. Typically, what you're doing is sifting through thousands and thousands of plant seedlings over multiple generations until you get the desired outcome you're looking for. This process can take years or even decades, and sometimes it doesn't ever work out at all. So when it does work out, those plant breeders deserve to be financially rewarded. Because without that patent protection, the plant breeder could spend decades working on this plant, and then as soon as they send it to the first nursery to be sold, that nursery could just go in, chop this up, propagate it, and profit on the years of hard work that the plant breeder put into it. Like I said, without those protections in place, why would anyone ever want to put in that effort into researching and innovating and creating new varieties? Here's another thing people don't think about. These plant patents, they only last for 20 years before they expire. So you might spend all the time and resources creating this plant, but you've only got a 20-year window before the patent expires and this becomes open genetics. Once it becomes open genetics, then yeah, anybody can propagate it and sell it all they want. So think about that before you get bent out of shape about someone trying to tell you what to do when it comes to propagation.